There's the LA Rams logo, which looks like something else.
What, banana? What?
So back in the day,
Steven holds
things you cannot see.
Smashed one of those.
Back in the day, there was on the Little Mermaid cover, there was something that happened on the old VHS.
Oh, you're talking about the King Triton's his castle.
Yeah,
it was a phallic image.
Yes, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, and then also the priest too. And apparently there were disgruntled Disney employees that kind of left those little Easter eggs in as they were getting let go. So that was their little way of saying, "Ha! Take that, Walt Disney," who I think at that time for Little Mermaid was probably already passed. 888-957-9570 is the number. Have you ever visited the Walt Disney Museum over at the Presidio? It's pretty cool.
The
Family Museum? Yeah. It's pretty cool. I highly recommend that. By the way, Justice de los Santos joining us 8:20 next hour. It's an hour from now, actually. Who is he? Well, he's just one of the best beat writers for the San Francisco Giants, and he covers them via the Bay Area News Group. So he'll be joining us 8:20. And by the way, fastest growing game show in the Bay Area is back. 9:30, 1 to 5. Defending champion Matt Steinmetz will be taking me on, and Grant Cohn of Sports Illustrated, who covers the 49ers. So can't wait for that at 9:30. In the meantime, we've been teasing the sound all morning. Let's play it. Mike Dunleavy sat down with Tim Kawakami of the SF Standard, and we're obviously on the TK show. This is where this was, an Odyssey podcast, and talked about Draymond Green, about Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, but more importantly, what the hell's going on with Kristaps Porzingis? Let's start there. Mike Dunleavy on if they were satisfied with the information they received on Kristaps Porzingis before he became a Golden State Warrior.
I think it's really, really complicated. This is a unique situation. I would say from our end, I feel good about, from the information that we had, I feel good about our evaluation of what that was on the medical side. And for that reason, that's why we made the trade. So looking back on it at the time makes perfect sense, good with it. And frankly, we're still good with it, given the information that we had. But as far as what was disclosed or what we knew, what we didn't know, whether it's officially, unofficially, like that's really hard to get into and probably something I can't comment on.
That last part, yikes. That is, now I know why Steve Kerr said mysterious, because he couldn't even answer the question towards the end there. I don't know what's wrong with him. But I'll tell you this, Mike, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what's wrong with Kristaps Porzingis. The guy hasn't played in a full season ever. The most games he's ever played in this season was his rookie year. That was 72. That was a decade ago. We know who Kristaps is. I don't need the head medical trainer of Atlanta, of Boston, of Washington, of Dallas to tell me. Kristaps has showed me his whole career. So it's really not that complicated. I disagree.
So my interpretation is, in a roundabout way, it feels like he's scapegoating the Hawks.
Sounds like it.
That's what it felt like to me.
I'm going to play this one more.
Maybe I'm interpreting it different than how someone else did, but it's like in a weird, subtle way, it feels like he's using the Hawks as a cop-out. Like, like the information we had.
I want to play it one more time.
I mean, it's very specific how he worded it.
Take a listen. Mike Dunleavy, general manager of the Golden State Warriors, on if they were satisfied with the information received on Kristaps Porzingis.
I think it's really, really complicated. This is a unique situation. I would say from our end, I feel good about, from the information that we had, I feel good about our evaluation of what that was on the medical side. And for that reason, that's why we made the trade. So looking back on it at the time makes perfect sense, good with it. And frankly, we're still good with it, given the information that we had. But as far as what was disclosed or what we knew, what we didn't know, whether it's officially, unofficially, like that's really hard to get into and probably something I can't comment on.
All right. And there might be the HIPAA thing or whatever, but officially, unofficially, what we knew, what we didn't know, I can't really get into. It's like, no one knows. Steve Kerr, your head coach, Mike, is telling us it's a quote unquote mysterious illness. And he's freaked out because he talked to Atlanta's GM. The Atlanta GM said it wasn't POTS. So Steve said, oh, I guess I can go tell everyone it's not POTS. And then I'm sure Dunleavy or the medical staff said, hey, Steve, you're talking too much. We actually don't know what it is. It could be POTS, but we don't know. So Steve's like, all right, I'm just not going to speak on this at all anymore. Joe, this is a debacle.
Remember this happened with the Portland Trailblazers and Gary Payton when they acquired him back.
The abdominal injury, remember that?
For like the three-way trade with James Wiseman. It's not the first time it's happened. Last year, you referenced the Lakers and the Hornets.
Mark Williams,
had a deal. So this is not unique to just the Warriors. This has happened to other teams. Yeah, but this guy in particular, if I just polled average NBA fan, Kristaps Porzingis, human ace bandage.
No, that's exactly what he is. What could have been if he stayed healthy? Like, that's what I think of with Kristaps, because he did start his career with New York. Like, looks pretty incredible. Like, I saw the vision there with Kristaps Porzingis. KD called him the unicorn. Like, I understood, but the guy just couldn't stay healthy.
Does anyone buy this?
Buy what?
Like, the information we had, I'm not. We thought it was good.
I don't buy it.
I don't care what information they had. Like, when you acquire, Joe.
I have all the information. I just told you the information. The guy can't compete on a night in and night out basis because his body betrays him. It's in front of all of us. If you just look up, go to ESPN, Kristaps Porzingis, stats, regular season averages, games played. It'll tell you right there, Mike.
If you had a resume, like a work resume, and you were taking applications, there's many analogies I could go with, and I'm going to go with this one.
Okay.
And that person's resume, you see a work history where they've worked for, let's say, 9 different employers in 13 years. How long do you think they're staying with you?
Not long.
Okay.
I'm the opposite of that, by the way. I've only had like 3 or 4 jobs my entire life. Yeah.
But like, history would tell you, maybe this guy stays or gal stays with me for 5 or 10 years. But what does their resume tell you?
That they're not loyal.
You know what you're accepting.
Yes. Yeah.
What does the resume on the back of Kristaps Porzingis' basketball card show you?
He's not here for the long haul.
No.
Not even close, quite frankly. He's here for a couple months. Joe, I'm
just not buying it.
Joe, I made a burrito bet with you guys.
I'm going to win that bet.
We'll see. It's not over
the
yet.
bet was with me, not with you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's true.
You know what? You're right. You're right. It was with you.
Thank you.
You're right.
There you go. Don't you try to get a burrito from me too. But I'll get you one anyways.
I just like.
See, I was smart. I made with just Spedoni. I wasn't the person who made with the entire show like other morning show hosts do.
If this is what their move is to kind of like gray area this thing into like, the Hawks, they didn't really tell us. You knew what you were getting in bed with.
Well, here's one more.
Give me a break.
Mike Dunleavy on the TK show on if the clock is ticking to see if Kristaps fits with the Warriors.
I mean, we definitely need him out there. We want to see him out there. Same thing for Steph, too, right? We need him to get back as well. So the clock is ticking in general. We're approaching, the last quarter of the season here. The race is on, and the sooner we get these guys back, the better.
The clock's ticking, Joe, on Kristaps, see if he's fit. Yeah, him and Steph Curry. Like, stop. We know who Steph is when he does come back. Steph can take all the time in the world that he wants off. Kristaps right now is flirting with the end of his career.
That's what I'm saying.
The end of his career. Nick Friedell joined the boys yesterday.
How can anyone just for a second?
Yeah.
How can anyone feel comfortable giving this guy? Let me give this. If I said, hey, Kristaps wants $15 million for the next 2 years, meaning $30 million overall, how can anyone feel good about that?
I don't even feel good about giving him a Guy Santos contract. To hell with 30. I ain't giving you $5 million a year. Kick rocks. I don't want this guy on my team.
They're in trouble.
He's not going to be out there.
They're in trouble.
No, also, he's sick. I don't know what's going on. He's getting other people sick. He said he was contagious early on. God, concerned about this guy. I am, genuinely. Nick Friedell, Willard and Dibs yesterday, Odyssey NBA insider, covers the Warriors for The Athletic on the Porzingis salary slot, may not give the Warriors a lot of options.
The Warriors don't have that many different options. I mean, part of the thinking with Porzingis was, hey, you keep the slot, but he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. Why would another team make a deal to sign him? Why are you going near a player who has the health issues that he has and continues to exhibit with what's going on? So when you have Steph at the number he's at, he's not going anywhere. You have Jimmy at the number he's at, and, could somebody take his contract back and expiring in the summer? Maybe, but the Warriors have made it clear to Jimmy, hey, we're going to stand by you, but he's at $55 million or wherever he's at. And then you've got Draymond at $27 or $28 million on that player option that everybody pretty much expects him to pick up. As far as the Porzingis stuff, what happens, we'll see. There aren't that many moves for them to make, frankly. I mean, that really is the biggest issue in all of this, because there's only so many different directions to go when you have that much money in your veteran guys on the books already.
Great. So it's even worse now. Thanks, Nick. Will join us tomorrow, by the way, cousin Nick.
So just so that people understand, next year, okay? This is next year. Going into the year. Steph making 60. I'm just round numbers. Jimmy making 55. If Draymond picks up his option, that's $28 million. Moody for $12.5. Horford, if he picks up his option, $6 million. Podziemski almost $6 million. Gee almost $5 million. Melton has an option. They don't have a lot of wiggle room. They're already over the cap by $100 million. This is going into next year. And the first apron space that they would have would be somewhere in the area of 25 to 30 million. Second apron space, 42 million. So
they can trade some of those out, but who's going to want to acquire? Are you giving up anything of circumstance or anything like for Al Horford at this stage of his career, second round pick?
I guess what I'm saying is if the 30 million comes off the books for Porzingis and they can't do a quote unquote sign and trade, essentially you kind of lose the $30 million in space because you're already over the first, the cap.
And that's why they need him to play, not just for them to see what they have in him, but for the league to see. Like that Kristaps could still be a serviceable player and someone could try to acquire him. No one's doing that.
So that you could absorb something back.
Correct. No one's touching.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No one's touching with the 10.
He's getting he's looking at a mid-level exception deal for next year.
Maybe,
is he not?
Maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like they're in a bolo. So in this hypothetical, and as I hear everyone like, hey, LeBron James, for what? For who? How are they fitting it in? Like I'm asking Cecilia, what are you trading Jimmy Butler to bring in LeBron James? Is Draymond Green not picking up his player option? Is he renegotiating for? I can't believe I'm even saying this.
Say it.
Is Draymond renegotiating to create wiggle room?
He might
for LeBron James.
If there was any
so
plan
now
to do
I want
that,
to sign up for 2 extra years of Draymond Green.
But you get LeBron for a year, Joe.
Stop.
But you get LeBron. You get the king.
Yay.
Yeah. Let's go.
So I would have
I'm all in on LeBron
I would
coming
have
here.
Gee, Moody, and Draymond Green on the books the year after, and Curry would expire, and Butler and LeBron would all expire. No. Like what?
908 on the Boxer and Gerson work injury attorneys text line. Guys, stop looking into the Hawks. Look at the Celtics. They got rid of a guy who came into the finals and scored 20 points with 3 blocks in game 1. And you still dump him. And the Warriors think 2 years later, hey, we can make it work.
It's a great point.
You know why?
It's a great point.
But you know why that 908?
A great point.
David Sampson just told us, all GMs, they're arrogant.
We've got such egos. When you're the president of a team, when you trade for a player, you say, you know what? We know more than the team who has him. We know that he's going to be better. He's going to be healthier. He's going to perform better. And that's what we're staking our reputation on. And when it doesn't happen, we get upset and we will do whatever we have to do to give it enough time for it to happen before we admit our mistake and go a different direction. But it is the most amazing thing that for whatever reason we say, oh, that bad year, don't worry. They're going to go back to the way they were when they had that one good year. That's what we're going to get when we acquire the player, sign the player. It's like we live in this delusional state.
I think it's just such a great point. And it doesn't matter who it is. And I'm not saying this is a shot to Dunleavy. Bob Myers, John Lynch, guys that we have that we think very highly of here in the Bay as GMs. Buster Posey. Buster Posey's got arrogance and ego.
Well, why do you think
these guys do?
Why'd they get Rafi Devers? Why? They thought it would be different here.
There you go.
And you know what? So far, it has been.
It has been.
He actually is playing first base.
It's worked. You know what? The Christian McCaffrey move was risky at the time.
Hell yeah.
Because of the medical. There was another part of that.
No doubt.
And there was a level of arrogance from Shanahan and Lynch said, no, it'll work better here than in Carolina. And it has. It has. Outside of the one season. But it's worked great for Christian McCaffrey.
It's been a great trade.
It has. But so it's not unique. And there is part of me that feels like, dumping on Mike Dunleavy right now, and just to say he's done nothing great. It's not what we're saying. That move for Jimmy Butler was fantastic. Nothing could take away from that run that they made, and they got to the second round of the playoffs. It was great. But I am starting to realize there is a lot more than just making moves as a GM. Talking through the media is a big part of the job.
Yeah.
You know who aces that all the time? John Lynch.
Yeah.
He's great at it.
I'll give Posey.
Posey's pretty good at it.
Yeah.
He says a lot of nothing.
Agreed.
But you know what?
That's actually part of the job.
That's part of the job.
Yeah.
Bob Myers might have been on the Mount Rushmore in the George Washington position of how to speak to the media and speak to a fan base. He told you what you want to hear, but he did it in a way where he didn't really give up a lot of information. That's what we call a politician, baby.
Can I ask you a question? Because I can see it both ways. I believe Evan and Steiny were having this conversation, and Evan was making a point about how the Jimmy Butler trade, you could make an argument it was a great trade. You could also make an argument it was a horrible trade because you paid for an older player who got injured not once but twice in less than a year.
Yeah.
If you had to determine right now, was it a good trade?
Yes.
It feels unfair asking that as he's out right now. I
still think it's a good trade because of the success they had. And I know it wasn't a championship, but where the team was last year and where they ended up, I'd have to view that as a success. Now, that being said, if you were to sell the fan base that getting Jimmy Butler would extend a championship window for Stephen Curry and Draymond Green and the Golden State Warriors, then it is a failure. But it's all about how you viewed the team once they acquired Jimmy Butler. Did you view them as legitimate championship contenders?
No. I thought it catapulted them higher. I don't know about championship contender, but it catapulted them higher. It just sucks he got hurt.
Yeah.
I would have done the deal.
I would have done the deal too.
Yeah, I would have done the deal. Given where we were at and everything, like, I don't want to pretend like I'm, retconning. I think it was a good deal. Well, I think it's unfortunate what happened, and I think it's also easy to say, well, this is what happens when you trade for older players. Yeah, but they were kind of backed into a corner.
And I think it's an interesting question at 888-957-9570. Like, deals that you would still make even though
Carlos Beltran. I talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, Zach Wheeler. It took forever to be good. It took like 5 years for him to actually be good. The Giants were coming off of a World Series win, and yes, they had lost Buster Posey. Beltran was good. He got hurt too down the stretch. I wanted to re-sign him. Like, Beltran was, I still do that deal. I still do that deal all day, every day. And I know a lot of people disagree. I'm like, all right, show me Zach Wheeler's best year. By the way, they made the deal in 2011. Zach Wheeler, I don't think made a major league appearance until 2015. I think 2015, his first great season wasn't until like 2018 or 2017.
I catch a lot of flack for this one, and people are going to say I'm stupid because of the tank job that happened after. I love, and I still love the Cespedes for John Lester deal. I do.
I hated it the day it happened.
I know you. I know, and I'm going to be on an island with this one. I know. I hear you on that. They needed an ace. They needed an ace, and the one team that he had to go against in the wild card round was the greatest running team we've seen in the Kansas City Royals.
So what's funny to me about the Jimmy trade? They immediately gave him a 2-year extension, which to me was like, we're all in.
Right.
Bought in.
Which is funny because the agent and Jimmy were like, if he goes to the Warriors, he is not signing an extension, signs it immediately.
No, like within seconds. It was all announced at one time. They're trading for him and they're extending him.
Yeah.
When they made the Kristaps deal, it was like, we're going to see what happens. And I was like, oh, God. Right when I saw that, I should have had a red flag.
Well, you did. You were pissed. That radio row show.
Was I pissed?
Yeah, you were yelling. You were yelling, and all the other radio shows around us at Moscone Center were like, what the hell is going on? Like, you were pissed.
It was a bad deal, like on its surface.
It's even worse now.
If you were playing 2K or you were playing Madden, this is the part where like Dunleavy, I honestly, I like Mike. I honestly do. Forget whether he's good or bad or whatever at his job. I like him as a person. Now let's get to like the specifics.
Yeah.
No, I'm being real. Yeah. Do you act like none of us has ever played video games? You just traded a 30-year-old injured dude who has like a 50% injury history, okay, for a 23-year-old. Like, you did the same thing with Chris Paul. 38-year-old Chris Paul for 23-year-old Jordan Poole. Like, go around sports. Who's making those deals? No one is. You lose those deals almost every single time. Whether the guy you traded for is going to be a Hall of Famer or not. Like, I'm fading the old hurt players every time.
408 on the Boxer and Gerson work injury attorneys text lines. So that people understand. Shasky, you thought the Porzingis trade was great. I don't.
When did I say that?
We never said that.
When did I say that?
Yeah. I don't.
When did I say that? We have audio. I talk every day. I love when people put things in. Show me the audio where I'm like, it's a great trade. I was mad at the return specifically.
We thought that maybe
And why it took so long.
Kristaps on the court. See, this is where Shasky and I agreed. Kristaps with Steph,
yeah,
it might have been a great fit. That's what we were talking ourselves into. Not that it was ever a great trade, that Kristaps might be a fit if he stays healthy. Problem is, and why we didn't think it was a great trade, Kristaps never stays healthy. That's the whole point. And also, quite frankly, just the return on a guy like Jonathan Kuminga when he dangled him out there, when we heard names like Michael Porter Jr. Hell, Malik, I would take Malik Monk right now in a heartbeat. You know why? Because Malik Monk shows up.
Yeah, but
he's on the court.
Look,
and they didn't want salary.
So many small guys,
but
too.
they also didn't want salary attached to next year. That was a big part of the Malik Monk thing. But you get what I'm saying, Joe.
No, I do.
I would take a Malik Monk right now because he'd instantly be your best offensive player.
And look, I'll talk myself into the player, but the trade itself, in a vacuum, is not a good trade.
209 says they got you confused with Mark Willard. on the Kristaps trade, it's pretty good. I'll give you a 5. 209. 408. The Jimmy Butler trade was a desperate move. They got fleeced into giving him a second year. Bad trade. That's Austin.
Really?
Are we having revisionist history now in Jimmy Butler trade? Was it a good trade? 888-957-9570. So if that's not a good trade, if we're just taking the Jimmy, because that's the only thing that that's the only thing Mike Dunleavy's really hanging his hat on is that trade. You could give me the Will Richard looks like it. I don't know what Will Richard is. Maybe he turns into a good player. But come on, man. I don't know.
I'm probably
Pajemski.
I'm gonna say this. I think the Jimmy trade was a good trade with an unfortunate outcome.
I think that requires nuance, and I agree with you. But we don't do that. This is in the morning nuance, as you know.
Like, you know what was a bad trade? Trading 2 first-rounders for Jamal Adams when he's a box linebacker, not even a box safety.
Jets got the best of him. But, you know, the Jets, they probably failed.
No, I know. I'm talking about
they probably failed on those draft picks,
I'm talking about, like, from Seattle's perspective. You know what I mean? Like, that was a bad deal. You know what I mean?
Jamal
like,
Adams was playing linebacker last year for the Raiders.
The Sacramento not picking Luka Doncic and taking Marvin Bagley. That was a bad deal.
All because Luka said, I didn't want to play with Sacramento. Oh, just like Jimmy didn't want to play with the Warriors. Force these guys' hands. Luka would have played there. Now, would he have forced himself off the team? Who knows?
But, like, the Dunleavy thing's like, do you not think, like, Mike, what is Mike? Mike's probably got a 10-year-old. Your 10-year-old knows how to make a trade in 2K. Like, what are we, stupid? Like, this is the part where these modern GMs, like, get with the times. We all got the NBA trade machine now, dog. Come on.
Remember how upset
Don't talk to me like I'm a moron. I was born yesterday, but not last night.
Well, remember how upset he got at the notion that Draymond Green was a part of the trade talks for Giannis?
It was! Draymond brought it up.
Steve Kerr brought it up on these airways. They all talked about it. He's like, that is, I forget the exact quote he's saying, but he's like, that is a gross assumption. And just always like, whoa, like, Mike, like, it's not an assumption. They told us he's being a part of these trade conversations. NBA insiders are telling us they're not trading Jimmy Butler. The only guy that matches the salary slot for Giannis is who? Draymond Green. Yes. Okay, I know, Oreo cookie. Spedoni or nuts, that Cespedes trade was horrible. I know. But John Lester, man, he was one of the greatest postseason pitchers ever, and he turned into a dud against that Royals team. What do you want from me? And yes, the team collapsed in the regular season. It wasn't great, and it ends up,
was it
Jason
Damian
Hamill
Moss with the microfracture surgery on the knee? Damian Moss.
Oh no, Brandon Moss.
Brandon Moss.
No. But he played.
No, I know, but
Brandon Moss was a gangster in that.
But his leg was all messed up.
Oh, afterwards.
Yes, yeah. Like clearly, he was playing on a hurt leg.
Yeah, it was not great.
Also, gosh, was it Derek Norris behind the plate?
Derek Norris, but he got hurt, and I believe it was Giovanni Soto.
I think Soto started that game, but Norris was the one who was behind the dish in that final inning where Jared Dyson stole second.
Soto started and got concussed. That's what happened.
And then Norris was in the 10th inning because, he dropped that. He had to throw down a second. Yep. He dropped it when Dyson stole second, and that's
after they took the lead too with Alberto Callaspo, baby. Remember that name?
Yeah, I do remember that name. With today's knowledge, in retrospect, the Jimmy deal was probably closer to more desperate than I was willing to admit in real time.
It was absolutely a desperate move. It was total desperation. But you know what? They were in a place, dude, they were clinging to a 10th spot.
I know.
They were about to miss the playoffs.
They were unwatchable. Who was it? They played Utah or
Orlando.
Oh, my God.
And it was the worst.
It was a rock fight.
It was the worst brick fest we've ever seen at Chase Center.
We could have built a few churches.
Bonte was talking about it. It was a Monday game at Chase Center. No one was there. Stadium was like 3/4 full. So no one wanted to go to the game. I think Paolo might have been out or Franz. And it was awful. God awful.